When I decided to go no contact from my mother, I remember someone telling me, well, Shakira, you only have one mom. And I want to speak in on this. Just to set the tone, I come from a very dysfunctional and distorted family. There have been numerous of things that have been happening to me my whole life, but I still was around my family. But when my mother called and asked me for money, I had to cut her off. It wasn't about the money of why I decided to do it. It was the reasonings behind it. My mother went to the casino and gambled her rent money away. And she was calling me to ask for it. And that is what set me off. My mother has been gambling and making bad decisions since I was a child. And I have always had to clean her mess up. Always. I was not only parentified, but she has never been in tune with me or my emotions or what I want. It has always been about what she wants and what she believes that I should be and how I should be and what should be happening. I have only known my mother to be irresponsible. Dealing with us being evicted, our lights being cut off. Sometimes we had food in the house. Sometimes it was skimp as hell. And it is one of the reasons why I joined the military very young, straight out of high school, because I had never known stability. And I needed to create that for myself. When she called and asked me for the money, the annoyance wasn't her asking. It was how she tried to emotionally manipulate me while doing it. You know, me saying, why would you put yourself in that position? And her saying, I don't want to hear that right now. And I've already got to deal with that. So you don't want to hear my mouth, but you want me to go up inside of my pocketbook and give you some money? This mouth and that pocketbook go hand in hand, okay? This is the same woman that I can be on the phone and you know right before you get off the phone with your mother when you say I love you, and there's a huge silence because there is an awkwardness in saying I love you. And it's not just on her end, it's mine as well. Sometimes we would hold the phone and I would just hang it up because it felt so awkward to even say I love you. Or even me moving out of state, not knowing anyone, right? Starting school, getting my license and calling her and saying, I just got my license, and not even hearing I'm proud of you or congratulations, but okay. Okay. But when she needs something, she can call me. When she needs to dump her problems on me, she can call me. When she needs me financially, she can call me. But ask me, can I call her? She not only doesn't have the capacity, she ain't got the funds, girl. I have went my whole life with that's just my mom. That's just how she is. No matter how messed up, no matter what she has said or done to me, that's my mom. Or that's just family, even when they have mistreated me and not been there for me. I started asking myself, is that love? Is that family? And let's just say it is. Is that a love or a family that I want to continue to participate in? Because the answer is no. I not only went no contact with my family, but I've decided that I am going to create my own family of love, of support, and acceptance. And to that person that said to me, Shakira, you only have one mother. You're right. And she only has one me. My mother cannot have any children, but if she could, there will never be another me. And I know that my mother went through a lot of trauma and a lot of bad things happened to her. And I understand that. But I matter too. I matter too. I am in therapy now for all of the things that I have experienced during my childhood. And I accept that and I take that as it is. But what I will not accept is that same behavior that happened to me as a child continuously happening to me as an adult. That's why I draw the line. I did not have a choice as a child, but I have one now.
Okay, so first of all, she is gorgeous, okay? Flat out. Next thing is, I'm so thankful that we're having these conversations because people have been suffering in silence for years and just dealing with pain and trauma and nonsense at the hand of the people that raised them. And, it's always crazy how when you put the mirror into narcissist's face, they don't really see it. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're, holding me accountable, or you want me to have the consequences of my actions. The worst thing for a narcissist is to be held accountable for what they've done, to be held accountable for their actions, and to have to actually reap the consequences for what they've sown. Because just like with all other bullies, it's like it's all fun and games until it's their turn in the fire. I remember one of my cheerleading coaches, she was kind of rude. And she was always saying shady things to everybody. And finally, one day I asked her why her hairline is receding, because she was always dishing it to everybody. She was always stating her opinion, always telling people what was wrong with them, how they looked, what was bad, and this and this and that. Meanwhile, your hairline is literally leaving from the side. So I just asked her about it. And the way her face contorted and how she shut down, I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Because when it's with us, the young people who are your cheerleaders, you're perfectly fine to shame us and throw shade. So I said that to say it's not just parents that are narcissists. There's bosses that are narcissists. There are cheer coaches that are narcissists. There are siblings that are narcissists. They're literally, there is a narcissist apocalypse out this piece. All right, let's keep going and hear what other people have to say as well.
Another way to know that you are not a man's type is by looking out for critiques. If a man is with a woman that was not his first choice, or is not the woman he really wants to be with, or the type of woman he really wants to be with, he will critique you all the time. He will critique your hair. He will critique your nails. He will critique the clothes you wear, the jewelry, the makeup, everything. He will try to change everything about you to fit the type of woman he wants you to be. And even if it's not looks wise, he will try to change your personality or characteristic traits or behaviors about you to fit the type of woman he really wants you to be. Because the woman he really wants to be with, or the type of woman he really wants to be with, acts like that, and you do not. Yes, you may have the physical build, the complexion, and the looks, but the other stuff about you is not there. And so he'll critique you oh, you should say this, you should do this more, and we should do this, and we should talk about this more. Because that's what he used to talk about with the last girl. That's what he used to do with the last girl. Yeah. I also had a friend that was in a relationship with a guy who was always trying to change her. Oh, I like when you have red hair. You should only have red hair because I like when you wear red hair, because it was a girl that he liked that always had red hair. When he first met her, she was really, really skinny, but she started getting her grown woman body. He would begin to critique her body. I just hope you know that if you gain any more weight, I'm not going to stay with you if you get fat. And he would remind her of that all the time because he did not like his women thick. He liked them scrawny. He liked them skinny, slim thick. And he would always critique her body when he felt like she was getting too close out of that. He would always tell her how he would like her nails, or what color he would prefer her nails to be, what clothes he preferred her to wear, and if she wore something he didn't like, he would always critique it and say, I don't like when you wear clothes like that, wear this. I was also in a relationship with a man, and I was not his type, but he was always trying to critique me, and he was always trying to change me. Now, I was always a girly girl. After a certain point, I dressed up and stuff, but not in a way that he liked. He wanted me wearing heels. He wanted me wearing $300, $400 bags. He wanted me wearing name brand sneakers. He wanted me wearing makeup every single day, even if I didn't go anywhere. He wanted my nails to be a certain color. He wanted them to be a certain length. And he just wanted me to do certain things. Certain things that was just that's not who I am. And at that time, we was super young. I'm like, dude, you don't even have money for $400 bags. He also would tell me that he wanted me to just sit around and just wait on him. And I'm like, yeah, no, I have friends. I have a life. I got stuff to do. He was trying to bring me down, humble me and shift me into the woman he wanted me to be. And that's not who I was. But you know who was like that? His mother. And I'm like, yeah, no. But he was always critiquing me, critiquing my clothes. He didn't like the type of clothes I wore. And anytime he would buy me something, he would never buy me something I actually wanted. He would buy me something that he wanted for me. And then guess what? When we broke up, he got a woman who was just like that. So a big sign that you are not that man's type is that he's going to constantly and continuously critique you. What you wear, your hair, your behavior, the way you talk, the things you engage with, the things you watch. He's going to try to change you and fit you, morph you into the woman that he wants. Because he cannot be with or have access to the type of woman he really wants to be with. And critiquing is always usually a really big sign of that. And it will be excessive critiques. Like, they will always go out of their way to do it. You're not going to ask, does this look good on me? What do you think? Like, no, they're going to say it on their own. They will let you, I don't like that. I don't like that. Or if they smelled a certain perfume on a woman that they really like, they'll tell you to go get that same perfume. They'll see nails on a certain woman that they like. They'll go home and tell their girl, oh yeah, go get these nails. Like, yeah, that's a big sign that you're not their type. Now, mind you, some men will just like seeing you in certain things. Like, that's different. So for example, like when you get your hair done a certain way and it just looks so good on you, they love when you do that to your hair. That's not the same. The difference is when they're telling you to do or be something that is not really you. Something that you would not do. Something that you were never interested in, and it's just like something that only they came up with. The person they want you to be or the things they want you to do doesn't fit you. Doesn't fit your personality, doesn't fit your purpose, it doesn't fit the woman that you are when they met you. I'll never forget, I had this guy who got into a relationship with this girl. When he first met her, she dressed very promiscuous. She was always wearing short, tight stuff, showing off her body, showing off her cleavage. And then while he was with her, he started falling for another woman who was older, who was more classy, more professional. She was wearing suits and she was wearing professional stuff. She had her hair done in a certain type of way. She just looked good, like a different type of good, you know? Mind you, this other girl he was in a relationship with was a lot younger than him. So of course she's dressing that way because she's young and just because she can. And sure enough, what did he do? He started trying to change her wardrobe. No, we gotta dress like this. No, you gotta put this on. You gotta look like this. You gotta start talking like this. We gotta start doing this. Trying to morph her into the perfect woman for him. So yeah, anytime you start seeing critiques that are extremely excessive, critiquing your body, making comments about your body, your hair, your nails, even passive aggressively, you know, yeah.
Tried for years and years and years to have some sort of connection with her. It breaks my heart because, you know, her emotional maturity is like that of a 12-year-old girl. So when, you know, I was in school, I was actually being bullied by girls at school, and then I would come home and I get bullied by her and my dad. It kind of created in me this old soul, because I was realizing that the patterns, like those kind of brat, mean girl patterns, they don't escape you because you get older. In fact, they don't escape you unless you're aware of it and you can change and you can mature. I felt disappointment that I wouldn't have that mother-daughter relationship with my mom, but I also felt a sadness because she stuck. As much as I want to have a real relationship with her, it is impossible to have a relationship with somebody who is emotionally stuck at 12 years old. And in the worst way too, like very vindictive, mean girl, jealous of her own children, and would constantly be like, make everything about appearance. Like when we would go home, half of me didn't want to go home because I didn't know what they were going to say about the way I look. Oh, whose nose is that? Like, you got a big nose. I don't know where that nose is from. Oh, look at your body. You're getting big and da-da-da. And, you know, or if we came home and like one sister was skinny and, you know, one sister was a little round. Oh, look at her. She got so skinny. But then they find some way to put down the big sister or the fat sister or whatever. It's really stressful to go home and your home is not a safe place for you. Like, it's very hard to have an adult relationship with people who aren't adults, and they continuously are trying to make you feel bad about being a bit heavier or being a bit chunky or something about your hair or the way you look. Like, it gets kind of annoying. Like, home is supposed to be a place where you can just go and feel safe and be around your family. And if your family is always making comments about how you aren't enough and how you're too fat and ugly, it's like, well, why would I continue year after year putting myself in a situation where I'm never good enough? I don't care if you're my mom or my dad or my grandma or my guardian angel. If you make me feel like shit, I'm not going to want to be around you. And they can't read expressions and see that people are uncomfortable. If I'm sitting there like, does that look like I'm comfortable? And can you not read the fucking room? Not only can they not read the room, they don't have any manners and they think that they don't have to have it. Where else in my life would I let somebody comment on my appearance and call me fat and ugly or make a joke about my intellect and I just sit there and don't say anything? I would never do that. So why am I allowing my mom and dad to do it to me? Just because you're my mom and dad does not give you the right to put me down, call me fat, or insult my intelligence. And by the way, you two ugly mothers made me. So if I'm fat, it's your genes. This is your nose. This is your creation. And why do you not want to love it? Why do you want to put it down? You know, one of the sad things too is that you have to maintain this energy with them where you're less than, inferior to them. And it's just not true. I stopped going home because I couldn't maintain that warped reality with them, because we're all adults here. If I walk into a room and an adult says to me, oh, wow, you've gained some weight this year, or you're getting thick, I'm probably going to say to you, oh, wow, your crow's feet lines are kicking in. You know what I mean? I'm going to say what I need to say back to you. Oh, wow. And with my mom, you can't play that game. She can say whatever the hell she wants about you. But if I were to say, well, you also are looking a little rough too, baby girl. That waist ain't looking so small. My dad would be in the corner ready to beat my ass because he's her protector, enabler. And so that also made me feel like, why would I put myself in a situation where if I state my opinion as an adult, I could be brutalized?
A lot of them don't realize, man, when you grew up with toxic narcissistic parents, that shit gave you mental health problems. A lot of us don't understand that, man. A lot of mental health problems you going with on a daily basis, the reason why you can't function is due to your trauma in your childhood. Notice the average people that's dealing with mental trauma, they can't talk to their parents. Their parents are narcissistic, daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? Mama don't respect them. They got to do what mama say. If they don't do what mama say, they going to hell. That ain't of God. But they're doing things that are not of God. They're not living abundantly. But they want to criticize you for every little thing that you do with your life. When you want to do something positive, they tear you down. But when it's somebody that's not their child, they uplift them. So you watching that, man, that shit breaks you mentally. It breaks your spirit. It makes you feel like you're not good enough. So as you get older, you start dealing with trauma. Because everything you went through in your childhood, that shit psychologically damaged you. And if parents feel as if you don't listen to them or do as they say, then you going against them and you shortening your days. But if you're doing as they say, everything they're telling you to do is to benefit them. And if you're doing things to continue to benefit them, they're saying forget your feelings. That's disregarding your emotions, causing mental health issues.
Let's talk about some of the long-term effects that narcissistic, abusive, toxic parents, emotionally immature parents have on like a scapegoat child. So let me give you one example. My parents, when I got my first car, I never got an oil change because I didn't know what an oil change was. Later on, my car got fucked up. It had like black exhaust and shit. My parents were like, when's the last time you got an oil change? I was like, I don't know. I've never got one. What? You never got an oil change? That's why your car's fucked up. You're so stupid. They laughed at me. Not only that, they laughed at me with their church friends, with their family members and shit, to laugh at how dumb I was for never getting an oil change. And then I internalized that and truly believed that I was so stupid for not already knowing some shit. Wait a minute, let's rewind. What is that? Should I have already known that as the child, or should my fucking parents be teaching me how to do these things? They laughed at me for their own fucking failure as a parent. And I didn't know back then. I didn't have the understanding to know, wait, that's not right. They should have taught me this. Why am I getting shamed for this? But that's not just the only example. Like, that applies to a lot of things across the board. When I got in a toxic relationship, then later on down the line, my parents tried to shame me and be like, wow, I can't believe you're acting like this. You're so wrong. They never taught me about boundaries. They never taught me how to say no, how to stand up for myself. They conditioned me to accept being treated bad by my relationship with them and also me watching their shitty relationship. And then they tried to shame me and make me feel bad that I was just a failure of a person. You see how that goes? And then talk bad about me, get other people to sit around and be like, do you see what Shay's going through? Because she's such a shitty person. Like, no, I'm not a shitty person. I'm literally having to learn everything as I go and make all the mistakes from day one. Every fucking mistake in the book without any parental guidance because you guys failed as parents. And it goes a lot deeper than just they've just failed as parents. It's with these types of parents, like my dad is a narcissist, they purposely don't teach their children things because they're threatened by their own children. They will literally be threatened by children. So they will withhold information because in their heads, they live in this imaginary hierarchy. They're very insecure. They only have people around them that make them feel better about themselves. So they will purposely try to keep their children down to the point of even sabotaging them because I have to be better than her because I'm the dad. She can't do better than me. Then they'll sabotage you. And if you don't understand this isn't the video for you. So it's just like, it takes a long time to unlearn. And even like sometimes you just feel like you're so fucking behind in life. But it's not that you're behind. It's that you have to literally start from day one as a child and learn every fucking mistake by your motherfucking self because your parents didn't teach you anything because they didn't want you to be better than them. And then they sat around and made you believe that it was a you problem, that you are a problem, that you're unsuccessful, that you're stupid, that you're so dumb. Look at how dumb Shay is. And that issue, that creates a big issue, a self-worth issue, a confidence issue throughout your life. Like, I truly thought I was, first of all, I thought I was unattractive for a long time because my parents were constantly saying how ugly I was, making jokes about it. My parents, I always thought that I was just so dumb and I couldn't do anything right because they were literally saying that to me and then sitting around and talking about me with other people. So it's like, if you are a scapegoat child, don't feel like you're behind. You just have to fucking learn everything without actually having anyone there to protect you, guide you, or genuinely care about you unconditionally.
I wanted to highlight this one as well because she's so right. It's like narcissistic parents, they won't teach you the skill, but then they'll like be mad at you for not knowing it. Like, I had a relative like one time say, oh, I wasn't expecting her to make the same like bad dating choices. Like, what? Da, da, da. And I'm like seriously? Like, you were there for my upbringing for part of it. Like, my daddy wasn't around. Like, my daddy left and he abandoned us basically and moved to another state. And we only saw him every once in a while on like the holidays and we barely wanted to go down there for that. Like, what do you mean you didn't think I was going to have to heal through some dating? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm single now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too much going on. And sometimes you have to prioritize your own mental healing, your own mental health first before you want to, you know, bring other people into this world. And you know what? Honestly, the way that I grew up is really one of the main reasons why I've chosen not to have children, at least biologically, at least not right now, because I want to make sure I'm a whole person before I try to bring anybody else into this world. Because I know for a fact there are a lot of things that I experienced as a child. If my parents were whole people before bringing me here, I would not have experienced it. And I just think, you know, it's unfair when you're aware of it to do that to a child, knowing that you might still have stuff you're dealing with. Because if you don't deal with it, you pass your trauma onto your children. And so there were some traumas that both my parents passed on. And, you know, they know that. It is what it is. Now, you know, am I okay in the meantime? Yeah. But the end of the day is like, if you are not mentally stable all the way and healed, I personally think that's selfish to have children. People say, oh, you guys are selfish because you want to live your life. If that's what it is, fine. Maybe I'm self-centered, but at least I know enough about myself not to bring a child into this world if I'm not ready and able to fully take care of it. And in a way that, you know, allows them not to have trauma, period. And granted, in this world, you're going to go through stuff anyway. But the point is that when you have like real narcissists, they still pass that stuff down and it goes down into the other generations. And it's just not right and it's not fair. So if anybody has a narcissistic parent, know that I see you, we see each other. And in the comments, we're having community and healing. Okay. So comment a healing comment to someone else, because you never know how much your story and your power and your persistence and ability to keep going will impact someone else, you know? And some people have narcissistic tendencies. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but it does mean that we have to have a mirror of reflection so that we can make a better world for ourselves and for the children. All right, I'm going to go for a minute and then I'll be back like way down later in the video. Okay, see you soon.
So a weird thing that my narcissistic mom and dad, my dad was more the enabler, it was mostly my mom, that she would do to me, mostly financially, and if you resonate with this, keep watching. So narcissists, they like to have some sort of financial control over you because they just like control in general. But like in terms of finances, especially with their kids, they want you to need them. They want you to feel like they're your only line of support financially, which is what I think ties back into they don't want to teach you life skills because they don't want you to be successful, because they don't want you to have your own money, because they want you to need them forever. And it started getting real weird with my parents. I was like 27 and they were saying that I needed to like divorce my husband and move back home with them. And I had 2 kids, or maybe I just had 1 kid at the time. And I was like, okay, it's getting to a point now where it's really bizarre. What do you mean I have to move back in with you? Anyway, they tried to convince me that he was an awful human, and he wasn't. He was actually like the best guy I had ever dated and married. But they were losing control. They had lost control. And I was 27, 28, and I was like, no, thank you. So then they started saying, if you move back in with us, you know, we'll try to help you get a house. And just like a bunch of random things that they were going to buy for me. They bought me a laptop and used it against me, said I'd need to pay them back even though it was a gift. And narcissists like to do that. They like to have control over you financially. They don't want you to realize you can actually do it all yourself. You're capable, you're strong, and you're smart, and you don't need them. Like my parents are pretty well off, and I would rather live in a camper than with them. And I think at some point you just have to realize, you just have to tell yourself you can figure it out. You can do it all by yourself. You can learn the skills of life that you need to learn, even though your own parents didn't teach you anything. And you can do it because you're strong. Go to therapy. Okay? Okay, love you, bye.
Hey guys, who else has grown up with a narcissistic parent that would, when you're sleeping and everything in the morning, they always wake up and make the most noise. Like they go, through in the kitchen and open up the cabinet, slam the door, get the plates and like make that rattling noise with the plates. Start vacuuming early in the morning. What else? Making they close the door hard as fuck. Like, they do whatever they can to make you wake up and not have you sleep in. But if you were to wake up and make a little bit of noise, like say you wake up before them and you freaking close the door, the microwave door, you know how it makes that sound. You can't avoid not making a sound with the microwave door. You close it and you make that beeping sound, beep beep beep. They get up and they're like, oh, they flip out, like, oh, that's you. No, I'm sleeping. And they get upset whenever you make a little bit of noise. Not intentionally, but they intentionally make the noise because they feel like they're entitled to, because they own the house or they rent the house or they pay the bills. They feel like they can make as much noise as they can. They don't care about who is sleeping. They don't like have any consideration for anybody else's sleep, and even then, you growing up in a narcissistic household, you can't even sleep in because your mind is like in a fight or flight, and it's like knows you're not in a safe environment. So you're just like, for me, I always woke up early in the morning, even on Saturdays, like at 7 or like 6:30. I'm like, why can't I not sleep in? It's because like my mind was like stressed out from like the night before or the days before, all that trauma or whatever, knowing that I'm like near the abuser, the narcissistic parent. They they love to like do things right before you sleep. Like they like to like argue with you or make a huge scene and have you going to bed all stressed out, all like all stressed out and everything, and you can't even go to sleep right. Then you can't sleep in, and you don't get that quality sleep that you need. And like the only way you can get that is if you're away from that person or away from that toxic environment. For me, it took me a long time for my body to realize I'm in a safe place so that I can actually sleep in. I haven't talked to my mom in 3 years. January 7th will be next year, 2026 will be 3 years. And it's like night and day, like the difference of like the sleep. I sleep so much better. I sleep deeper. I go into my REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's what REM stands for. But anyways, has anyone else experienced that growing up with a narcissistic parent? Let me know down in the comments below. See ya.
Your narcissistic parents love when you need them. They love to see you starving and you needing food. They love to see you behind on rent and bills. They love when you don't have money to furnish your apartment. They love when you lose your apartment and you have to come back to live with them. They love to see you in abusive relationships. And if you were to ever explain the abuse that another person was putting you through, they'll blame you for it. They'll tell you that you're crazy. They'll tell you that you overthinking. They will convince you to go back to that same fucked up place you found your way out of. They love to see you hurt. They love to see you struggling. It gives them a high. They love that you don't love yourself. They love that you feel insecure. They love that you feel miserable because that's exactly how the fuck they feel inside. Empty and deeply insecure. Narcissistic parents love when their children go through the same things that they went through in their childhood. And that's fucking sickening. If that's your reality, I'm so sorry. Save every last red cent that you have so that you can get away from your narcissistic parent permanently. Better days are coming, I promise. Just keep praying and keep God at the center of everything, and I promise you, he gonna provide your way out.
Having a narcissistic mother is a special type of hell, especially for daughters. Because I feel like narcissistic mothers, especially covert ones, have a habit of becoming their daughter's best friend and confidant, or at least making their daughter think that they are, when in reality you're her confidant and basically the only person who was willing to deal with her because you do love her, because you're her child. Once you grow up and realize that your mother is a narcissist and was never that kind person that you thought she was, you start to realize why she has no one in her life. And as an autistic person, I tend to not have many people in my life because it's just hard being autistic. And it's hard to make friends and it's hard to keep friends. But with narcissists, it's a very different reason why no one wants to be close to them. because they'll pretend to be a completely different person, and then the moment that you disagree with them, they act like a fucking monster, and you're like, who is this person? I wasn't aware that this was you. I should distance myself from you because you are very strange. But as their child, you don't really get that opportunity until you grow up. And in my case, my mother did not really overtly show her true nature to me until I had grown up. And I really thought I was her best friend, so it's very crushing to realize that I was being used for my whole life. But there were definitely signs. Anytime I didn't want to be a carbon copy of her, she treated me like shit. She didn't want me to become my own person at all. Because to become my own person is to realize what kind of person she is. But yeah, I don't think we talk about narcissistic mothers enough because I feel like mothers are given the benefit of the doubt. Oh, being a mother is so hard. They deal with so much. Nobody helps them. But that's not an excuse to be a horrible, terrible, awful person. But I feel like a lot of narcissistic women do use an excuse of having children as a reason to be narcissistic. And everyone excuses them for having children. I don't know why children are such a great excuse. That's why I also wonder if people who have children are majority narcissists or people with personality disorders or control issues. Because the thought of having a child literally makes me so fucking terrified because I know I would want to treat them well and make sure I never mess them up, give them whatever they need. But these people just pop out children like fucking hotcakes. I guess to conclude this, I'm just saying that a lot of narcissistic women have kids only for the sole reason of having people to control and having people to abuse that don't understand its abuse because of its covert nature. Because having children is easy. Being a mother is not. And those two things are not the same. Just because you had children doesn't make you a mother.
So let's not forget the fact that narc parents, if you are under their control and they got you like brainwashed, narc parents love to isolate you. If someone comes around and they care about you even just a little bit, they will sabotage that relationship. And what I mean by sabotage is they will put something in that person's ear not to like you. They will put something in your ear not to like them. This is definitely a situation where they thrive off of two people not being able to communicate directly. So if you have a new friend or a new boyfriend, this is the perfect opportunity for them to crash the party before it even gets started. They don't want you getting to know them, and they don't want them getting to know you. They don't want you telling them what they be doing to you. They love to hide behind the scenes.
Something most people don't talk about when it comes to narcissistic parents, and that is they actually can appear to be really great parents. That is in the baby and the toddler stage. There's a reason for that. Okay, think about this. A baby and a toddler, they meet their parents' needs perfectly. A baby and a toddler, they are fully dependent on that parent. Child at this age, you as a parent, you're their entire universe. Baby, nope, they don't disagree with you. They don't have conflicting opinions. When you're small, you're considered the extension of them. Honestly, really, they might even feel genuine love at this stage because you're fulfilling exactly what they need from you, which is also when you see narcissistic grandparents, they're really attentive in these baby cutesy years. But it does not stay like that, and here is where it shifts. The moment you start gaining and building your own autonomy, your own thoughts, your own opinions, your own preferences that don't align with theirs. This is when everything changes when you have a narcissistic parent. Suddenly, you're not the perfect extension of them anymore. You're becoming your own person, and to a narcissistic parent, that honestly feels like a threat. Not only does it feel like a threat, but it feels like defiance, rejection. Because in their mind, you are not supposed to challenge them. You are supposed to validate them. You're supposed to reflect their greatness. You're not supposed to have needs and boundaries of your own. This is why they start telling you that you're ungrateful. This is when you're going to start seeing the rage, the manipulation, the emotional abuse. This is when they start to tell you that you're the one who's changed. This is when you'll start hearing phrases like, man, you used to just be such a good kid. Started to become a person, not just a reflection. This is when they start to create self-doubt, and they really start to make you feel like you are the problem. problem. I tell you that you're not the problem. Their love was always conditional on you meeting their needs. And the super sad truth about having a narcissistic parent is their capacity to love is limited to the version of you that served them. And I just want to let you know that you deserved much more than that. I hope this helps makes more sense of how narcissistic parents and then grandparents could be so loving in these baby toddler years. It actually disgusts me. If you like this type of content where we're just exposing narcissistic behavior, especially in family abuse, follow me. I love you guys. Mwah.
10 ways to tell if your mother is toxic and emotionally abusing you. Number 1, she sabotages you. This typically happens when you're dependent on her. If you need her help to advance your life in any way, shape, or form, she will sabotage it. Number 2, she will always be in competition with you. That is why she has to sabotage you, because she knows that if she ruins anything that you have going for yourself, she will always have one up over you. Number 3, when you accomplish things in life that you have done on your own, she will come around to try to take credit for those accomplishments and actually be there for those accomplishments. Number 4, she doesn't act her age. Her responses often come off childish like a teenager. She doesn't know how to regulate her own emotions. Number 5, she triangulates you with anyone that will listen. She will badmouth you to anybody that will listen. That is so everybody turns against you and be on her side. Number 6, she love bombs you. She love bombs you, then takes away affection, aka discards you when you're not behaving in a way that best suits her. Or when y'all are in private together, she will treat you like trash, but when people come around, she will be nice to you. Number 7, she will attempt to portray the perfect image. Oftentimes, they lie about their lifestyle and lie about being a good parent. Number 8, she will never apologize. If she has done something to hurt you, she will never apologize for it, and she will invalidate your feelings. If she ever does apologize, the apology will be backhanded. So for example, she will say, whatever I did to hurt you, I'm sorry. Or she will say, if I made you feel that way, I'm sorry. Those are not apologies. Number 9, she gaslights you. Any abuse that she has put you through, she will make it seem like it has never happened to you. Number 10, she plays the victim card. She provokes a reaction out of you, and then she plays the victim. That is called reactive abuse. Now, I know I told y'all I was going to give y'all 10 things, but I have one more thing to add to this. They protect abusers. So oftentimes they'll be on the side of the abuser and they enable abuse.
Narcissistic parents are not just abusive. They literally make sure that no one will believe you. And they typically do this in 5 ways. Number 1 is that they paint themselves the victim. They will tell everybody that you abandoned them and that they are the one that was injured without telling everybody why you had to make such a hard decision because of the way that they treated you and their own actions. The second is that they'll twist your healing into an act of betrayal. So the fact that you had to set boundaries then becomes the thing that betrayed them and caused the family harm. Number 3 is that they'll plant seeds of doubt. They'll say things like, I don't know, I think it's her mental health, or I don't know, they've just changed a lot lately. You know, it's just because they've been hanging out with so-and-so or they've gone to therapy. And then in doing all of this, they create number 4, which is calling in the flying monkeys, where they recruit people to actively be on their side and against you so that no matter how many times you try and share your story, nobody's going to believe you and everybody is gaslighting you. Number 5 is that they rewrite the past. So suddenly everything in the past that happened was beautiful and wonderful except for you. You were the problem and you were always the problem, and now you're just an adult who is also the problem.
Narcissistic mothers say really hateful shit to their children. Okay, well, not all their children. They always have a one favorite child, the golden child. That child is exempt. They don't say hateful shit to their favorite child. But all their other children, yeah, they will say abusive, horrible shit to those targeted children. And I'll give you an example. If your mother was abusive and narcissistic like my mother, one of the most hateful things that my mother said to me and my brother, I have a sister. My baby sister is exempt. Remember, she's the golden child. She's the child that can do no wrong. The child that my mother has always put up on a pedestal since she was a little baby. She's exempt from the abuse. But me and my brother, she used to say the most horrible things to me and my brother. Things like, I wish I never gave birth to you. I hate you. It's unfair that your father doesn't have to take care of y'all or put up with y'all like I do. Fuck y'all. I hate being a mother. When a mother is toxic, abusive, extremely narcissistic, very malignant, that is, you have to understand she lacks empathy. Those are one of the traits of malignant narcissism. No empathy, no remorse. And God forbid if you are one of her children and she targets you, specifically the scapegoat child, if she targets you to receive the brunt of her frustrations, her abuse, this is also called projection. Everything that your mama has gone through in her own life, whoever traumatized her, whoever abused her, whoever mistreated her, whether it's her mother, father, whether it's her boyfriend, maybe one of her uncles molested her, maybe somebody in the church molested her, took advantage of her, and nobody protected her, whether your daddy cheated on her, all the issues that your mother has, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, she will project it onto that targeted child. She will choose you to be her emotional and verbal, physical whipping post. Because she will not do the inner work to deal with her own traumas. She's frustrated at all the people who have hurt her in life. She's frustrated at all the men who have dogged her out in life. She hates your daddy, but she'll blame you. Therefore, when she takes her frustrations out on the targeted child or children, she will spew hatred on her own children. And she puts such intensity behind her words. She means that shit. I hate you. I hate that I gave birth to you. I hate that your father doesn't have to take care of you and I'm stuck here with all these responsibilities. She means that shit, y'all. If your mama's a narcissist, she means that shit. She hates her fucking children. Because you were never created out of love. You were not brought here out of love. And she hates that she's obligated to take care of you financially, especially if your daddy's a deadbeat and he's not helping her. She's really going to punish you for the shit he did. So yes, she's going to say very hateful things to her children, such as, I wish I never gave birth to you. I hate you. I hate looking at you. Get out of my face. And if you're anything like me and you were obese, overweight, some of y'all were skinny, she's going to tease you and bully you about your physical appearance. You can add that into the punishment, the verbal abuse. Not only will you be blamed for her own traumas and bullied and punished verbally, she will tear down your physical appearance, destroying your self-esteem. And ladies and gentlemen, when you grow up and become an adult and all you get into is toxic relationships with men or women who destroy your self-esteem and abuse you, it's simply because you've gotten into a relationship with someone who behaves just like your mother. You're familiar with your mother's personality. You're familiar with your mother's toxic traits, her toxic behaviors, her toxic characteristics. You've been living with your mama for the first 20 years of your life. So you've normalized, even though she's abusive towards you, you've normalized everything about her and how she treats you. So when you go out into the world and you start getting into romantic relationships, guess what type of person you're going to attract? You're going to get into a string of romantic relationships with people who behave like your mama because you are familiar with her behavior, and you're going to gravitate towards your lovers who share the same behaviors as your mama. Familiarity. You understand me? You've normalized the verbal abuse that your mama has done the first 20 years of your life. You've normalized the violence. If she puts her hands on you, she strikes your face, ladies, tries to mess up your beautiful face. Like my mama did, she put a scar on my face in high school. She meant that shit. She wanted me to feel ugly. Yeah, if your mama is violent, guess what? When you start getting into romantic relationships, you're going to get in relationships with violent men. Because you normalize your mama's violent behavior, you're going to attract men like that. You're basically in a relationship with someone just like your mama. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? So verbally, she will say the most hateful shit to you, the most harmful shit to you, and also in the process, destroy your self-esteem and confidence. It's all very intentional. She meant it. So what you have to do is cut her off permanently. And if you are a parent or you plan to bring children into this world, you have to raise your children differently. You cannot call your children names and destroy their self-esteem. You cannot blame your children because your baby father is toxic and you hate his guts. That's not your child's fault. But your mama blamed you. She blamed you, and because you look like your daddy. See, I look just like my daddy. I look like my daddy's entire family. That really made my mama hate my guts because I look like that nigga. On top of me being the oldest child, the eldest daughter, I got bullied verbally, emotionally, and physically. No child deserves that. You understand? And she will not stop verbally abusing you. When you become an adult, she will continue. It doesn't stop. That's why you have to be the one to take control and cut that bitch off. And any other family member that supports her and enables her to abuse you, they all got to get cut. Stop letting your mama get away with bullying you and talking to you. You a grown ass adult. Stand up for yourself.
She keep disrespecting you because she don't care. It's really just that simple. It's not that complicated. Your narcissistic mother just does not care about you. She don't give two about nobody but herself. And she gonna forever be that way. She gonna die that way. She like being that way. You know why she likes it? Because it's been serving her this long. She ain't never gonna change. People always at her beck and call. People always think she the cream of the crop, everything in between, while she over there traumatizing you behind doors. Go ahead and leave her ass. Don't stay there no more. If you can get out, get out. If you can't get out, make a plan to get out. If you need some help on how to get out, contact me and we can come up with a plan together. Because having a narcissistic mother is so detrimental to your psyche. You are drowning and you don't even understand. You are not living a life. You are just existing. She is killing your spirit. She is killing your soul. They are emotional vampires. She is sucking the absolute living shit out of you. You have nothing left to give because she has taken it all. But you can take your power back. Don't let her control you for the rest of your life. Get up off that floor. She done knocked you down 10 times. You can get up 12 more times. I promise you that you got it in you. If anything that I said to you today resonates with you, go ahead and follow me here. Save my content. Share it with somebody if they need to hear it. And we can heal together and I can help you become mother-proof. Her pain is not your truth. Okay? You are stronger than she has ever been. And as long as you choose yourself, you will get through this. Okay? Have a good day, a good night whenever you're watching this. And don't let that delusional bitch tell you nothing else that's not true. Block her the fuck out.
If your narcissistic parent has put you on the guilt trip of all the sacrifices that they've made in order to keep you alive, which was kind of their legal obligation, which they chose to do, you had no say in any of this. This is your reminder that that is just a guilt trip. I also want to remind you that you've made a lot of sacrifices too. You have had to sacrifice your childhood, your mental health, your emotional health, your ability to feel safe on this planet. And that was more than enough that you have done for your narcissistic parent. And the reality is you literally don't owe your parents anything for bringing you onto this planet. You had no choice. You were just brought into this circus that they imposed onto you, And normal, healthy parents don't actually impose this sort of sense of responsibility onto their kids. They want their kids to grow up to be healthy, functional adults. But for narcissistic parents, that's not their goal. They want an extension of themselves that they can control for the rest of their lives. Your boundaries, whether it's low contact or no contact, are completely valid. And their argument that they made sacrifices for you was a choice disguised as a guilt trip, because people who feel guilty are easier to control. You were brought into this circus by no choice of your own. And now that you're an adult, you're making the empowered choice to live life on your own terms. And that's amazing.
And every time somebody tell you, that's your mom, you only get one in a lifetime, they're putting a curse on you. They're trying to keep you in a cycle that's destroying you and your life. You told the person everything your mom put you through. Told them how she been treating you like shit since you was a child, was speaking ill over you, putting spells on you and shit with the words that she spoke, doing witchcraft, dibbling and dabbling in dark magic. You told them that your mama said she hates you. Told them that she said she was gonna kill you. She said you were never gonna be shit. And the list goes on. The bitch is just pure evil. And after all of that, they still instilled in you that that's still your mama. She loves you. You only get one. You need to forgive her. She don't mean none of that stuff. Absolutely not. That person is just as disgusting as the bitch that raised you. They actually want you to endure more abuse and more trauma. They don't ever want to see you remove yourself from the cycle. A mother that's doing all of that shit, that's not a mother. That's the fucking devil. And so is the motherfucker that's enabling that bullshit. Cut her and anybody else that agrees with her evil ways. That is not your mother. She was put in your life to teach a lesson and open your eyes. Now that your eyes are open, it's time to get away from her. And I mean quick and in a motherfucking hurry. Wonderful.
I wanted to explain a phenomenon that happens in some traumatized families that I don't hear talked about a lot. And that is, when you grew up with emotionally immature parents, the parents were treated like the children, and the children were treated like the parents. So we hear a lot about how in these families, children are expected to take care of their parents, to manage their parents' emotions and volatility, and to also take care of their younger siblings. But it goes further than this. When you grew up with emotionally immature parents in a traumatized family system, children are treated as though their needs and their emotions don't matter, and that the parents' needs and emotions are the only ones that matter. And when the children do have needs and emotions, sometimes the parents will attribute that to emotional manipulation. Oh, you're not really hungry, you're just trying to manipulate me. Children don't do that. They see their parents as gods, and they don't emotionally manipulate. If they are not acting correctly, it's because they're incapable of doing so at that time. Either they have a dysregulated nervous system or something else is up. And it's a sign of abuse if a parent thinks that a child is manipulating them, or that a child's needs or will or self-expression is some sort of spite on the parent. This attitude existed in my family system, and it was never overtly or expressly said to me. But the reason I know that attitude is alive and well in our family is because every time I have had a child around me, or even a pet, or something that is perceived to be weaker than me, I have this irritation about it. How dare you have needs? How dare you be loud? How dare you be a problem to deal with? And I bring this up because the way that I treat my own body is exactly that attitude. So a lot of us that grow up in these family systems end up in addictions because we're not able to feel our emotions anymore. And so we end up in something that will help us both numb and feel emotions of any kind. The messages and emotions that my body gives me, I feel slighted by. I have that same relationship with my body as my family has with a child, which is your emotions, your feelings, your needs don't matter, and you better serve me as the adult, as the one who is in control of you. And if you don't serve me, I am going to punish you. I am going to see you as needy and manipulative. Anytime that we have this kind of relationship with anything, whether it's our own self or someone who's outside of us, it's a sign that we went through trauma and that we were taught to dismiss and suppress.
And today I can hear those same voices that tell me to suppress, and I can instead choose to listen and validate the feelings.
I believe this is called parentification, if I'm remembering correctly, when a child is placed into the role of the parent because the parent is not emotionally mature or emotionally intelligent. And once again, that to me strips away and it like chips away at a child's innocence, because children are not meant to handle adult problems. That's why they're children. Their brains aren't even fully functioning and developing. And that's why, especially with my clubs and stuff, I'm very, very aware of how I speak to children, because they take everything so much more like with weight, especially from adults that they cherish, respect. And thankfully, I am that for a lot of these kids in my clubs. But, it's just important that we're aware of these things and we're not putting, expectations on children that are crazy. Like another thing I've discovered is like a lot of times narcissists will put standards on their children that they're not even meeting. Like you're like, oh, you're so lazy. But like, meanwhile, when's the last time you cleaned up? When's the last time you did anything productive? But I'm lazy, like, oh, you're so this, you're so that. And it's like, well, okay, yeah, but where did I learn it from? From you. I'm exactly a replica of you. So I think that a lot of parents, especially the ones that grew up with narcissists, and if you are a narcissist, you have to be really aware of like what you're even doing in your life, because if you're not even like half of the person you expect your child to be, like, what the heck? It's a child. If you don't even meet the standard that you're setting for your child, there's no way that they can meet it, because they're a child, point blank, period. And I'm sick of these people like, oh, children are to be seen and not heard. Who told you that? Slavery taught you that? We's free now. Okay, if nobody told you, we's free now. Okay, children matter, period. Children are people too, in case you didn't know. Let's keep going. Oh, let's keep going.
I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course, I secretly would rather see you struggle than do well for yourself. The more you struggle, the more you have to rely on me, which means I get to control you. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course, I had children to cater to my ego. The purpose of having kids is to teach blind obedience to me, not for them to be their own people. I'm their ruler. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course you have to earn my love. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course I've been emotionally unavailable your whole life. I didn't become a mom to meet your needs. I became a mom for you to meet mine. I'm a narcissistic mother. I can only love you for who I want you to be, not for who you are. As long as you do as I say, stick beside me in my toxic behavior and participate in the fantasy I've created in my head, you have nothing to worry about, my love. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course, I'd rather impress strangers and give the idea of a perfect family instead of actually having a healthy family dynamic. I don't really care about having a healthy family dynamic. As long as I get to post and keep up my false image, I'm fine. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course, I play my children against each other and make them compete for my attention. I can never let them have a close relationship and leave me out the middle. Never. I'm a narcissistic mother. Of course, I'm going to be a seemingly loving grandmother, but only to one grandkid. I have to use the same manipulative tactics I used on my kids when they were younger. How else am I going to get them to compete for my love? I'm a narcissistic mother. I'll never apologize for the way I treated you, but I'll blame you for the way that you reacted.
5 things that you might experience as an adult daughter with a covert narcissistic mom. 1, she'll be very entitled to your time, to your space, to your money, and if you do not give her what she feels that she deserves, what she feels that she is owed, she will turn against you. She will talk about you to other people to try to destroy your character, turn other people against you, and try to make them see you in a different light. 2, she does not respect your boundaries as an adult. She treats you like a child. She tries to talk down on you like a child, and if you have children, she will override your authority in front of people to make you feel small, and she will do it behind closed doors. 3, she's very envious and jealous of her daughter's accomplishments. She's jealous of who her daughter is, who her daughter is becoming. If she feels like she has not reached where she wants to reach in life, she's jealous of her daughter's relationships, her friendships. If she's married, if she has a healthy relationship and the mom feels like she didn't get to accomplish that, or she never had healthy relationships, she will be jealous of those relationships and she will try to sabotage them. 4, she will try to control you every chance that she gets by manipulating you, with gaslighting, she will say things that are left. She will say things and do things that she knows are inappropriate. And then when you bring them to her attention, she will tell you, I didn't mean it that way, or you took it the wrong way, or you're too sensitive, to gaslight you, to make you question your reality. 5, which is an important one, and you could probably see this if you go look back in your childhood in more ways than one. She's very unsupportive, and let me tell you, it's very calculated. She will not support you in the things that you are doing, the things that you are accomplishing. She will not show up to important life events, like baby showers, ceremonies, weddings, things that normal moms would show up and are supposed to be there to support their child. She will not show up, but she'll be able to talk to you about someone else and talk to you about what they're doing and how good they're doing it. It's all a manipulation tactic. It's all to make you feel small. It's all to make you question yourself, because if we're honest, our parents are supposed to be our first friend. We look for approval and validation in our parents. But if you have been experiencing some of these signs growing up, or you're just now realizing it, believe the signs.
To all my neurodivergents that grew up with narcissistic parents, they're going to try to teach you to be nice all the time. They're going to teach you to not have no edge. You feel what I'm saying? They're going to teach you to not be, not a physical dog, but just like your mentality, how you carry yourself. They want you to be like a people pleaser. They want you to submit to somebody, and that's terrible. That's not good in the workplace. That's not good in relationships. That's not good in friendships. People will not respect you. Listen, I always had a defiant mentality, right? But then I have narcissistic parents, so they wanted me to submit. So I would kind of like flash back and forth, because it was survival for me. If I didn't fall in line in some instances, I would get verbally abused, physically abused sometimes, or whatever the case may be. So I had to learn, you feel what I'm saying? But it was bad, because when I go in the workplace sometimes, or at school, or whatever the case may be, I would use that side of me in the wrong instances. So now I had to recondition myself to, I don't have to be nice to people. You feel what I'm saying? I can be kind, I can be respectful, but in regards to like, smiling because they want me to, or, oh, let me get this for you, or going out of my way. No, this world is not built for that. You feel what I'm saying? This world is to take advantage of you. This world was built to manipulate you, to play on your vulnerability. So you don't have to be nice. You could be chilling, you feel me? You come in your job, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Whatever the case may be, X, Y, Z. You ain't gotta be like, hey, oh, you need me to get something? Oh, I got it for you. Like no, you don't have to. Especially us neurodivergents, we gotta remember that we're thinking with our minds. So use it. And your mind knows that people out here will try to exploit you. So you gotta just chill, be in your bag and be you. Most of us that became semi-people pleasers or hardcore people, that's not even really you, bro. Like, for real, I'm kind, I'm nice, I love helping people that I feel like deserve it, but I'm not that nice, bro. I'm not that nice. If you get to know me, yeah, you be like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? I hear it from everybody, shout out to them. But, like, just my natural, raw personality, I'm not trying to be buddy, but I don't know you like that. Even if you're my boss, even if you're my coworker, I don't know what's behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? I'm self-aware. I know the demons behind some of these fake facade individuals. So don't go out your way to be nice to people. Just because somebody smile at you, don't mean you gotta smile back. You can, you feel me? Just because somebody is doing something at the job, don't mean you have to help them per se. You can, but you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Get that little, I feel like I gotta cater to the next one. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not in my nature. It's in my nature to help people that I feel like deserve it. And if I truly feel like it, not to just do it because I want some brownie points, or, you know what I'm saying, or trying to cater to somebody. You know what I mean? No. Don't be nice, be kind.
Let me tell you some insane shit my mother used to do growing up that would send any good mother into a downward spiral. First, she made me her therapist when I was like 5. She would get wasted and cry to me and tell me these awful things that happened to her, awful things that like my dad did, which weren't even awful. It was just him not liking her to drink. Or she would cry and tell me about stuff that happened before I was born, and it was always painting her as the victim, and it always made me feel so bad for her, and it always was like talking shit about my dad's family. Whenever she was mad at my dad, which was like all the time, she was constantly slamming shit, like huffing and puffing, giving death glares, like just being so dramatic. And then she would like lock herself in her room and sob so loud that you would think that everybody died. You would think that like something tragic happened, but she would just sob so loud to make sure that everybody, including the neighbors, would hear her. She used to ask me if she should have another glass of wine, and to me, all I knew as like a 5-year-old was that wine made my mom happy. So yeah, of course I was like, have the whole bottle, not knowing that I was literally supporting her being an alcoholic. She also used to have me pick out her wine bottles for her, and if I picked out like a good wine and she liked it, I thought I was like the best kid ever. She would be like so happy and like proud of me. She used to take me to the local bar with her, and she would leave me with the bartender while she would go to the bathroom, and she would tell like the bartender to watch me. Now that I'm older, I fully understand that she was powdering her nose. And on the topic of powdering her nose, we used to go to this one specific friend's house, and I would be told to sit facing the TV that was always off. I would be like doing homework or something, and I wouldn't be allowed to turn around. I would either have to ask if I could turn around, or they would have to let me know, okay, like you can turn around now. And what's so crazy is my brother is 9 years older than me, and he has almost the exact same experience going to that friend's house, except for instead of doing it like right in front of him, they would just go upstairs and lock him downstairs, and they would completely ignore him if he came and like tried to knock on the door or anything. And then he said when they would come out, they would be like entirely different people. Also, as I got older and I wanted like money for lunch and stuff, she would always tell me that she never had lunch money, but every day after she picked me up from school, we would always stop at the liquor store. And last, if she went and like got food for herself, or if she decided like she wasn't gonna cook dinner or something, she would get food and she would like get us food too, but then she would throw it in our face. She would be like, see what a nice mom I am, see what a nice mom, like see the things I do for you. And it's like that you are literally feeding us, like you're literally doing like your obligation as our parent. But yeah, if you didn't thank her like over the top and like let her know how much you appreciated her, then it would turn into her huffing and puffing, slamming cabinets, and like being super passive aggressive, and then like threatening to never do anything nice for you again.
If your mom is upset because you're setting boundaries, if your dad says you're disrespecting the family just for speaking the truth, if your family calls it love but it feels more like control, that's not closeness. That's enmeshment. Look, in an enmeshed family, your feelings aren't yours. Your choices, well, they're up for debate. Your life, it exists to serve the family system. And if you try to step out of line, they don't ask why, they make you the villain. But guess what? You weren't created to carry their unhealed trauma. You are allowed to have your own identity. And guess what? Love doesn't require losing yourself. Call it what it is. You're not breaking the family. You're breaking the cycle.
If you're an adult child of a narcissistic parent and you're considering making the brave choice to go low or no contact with your narcissistic parent, first of all, I just want you to know that you are a badass and you have my full support. And second of all, you might be a bit nervous on what to expect when the inevitable shit show comes your way. So let's get into 5 expectations to have when you decide to go low or no contact so that you can prepare yourself. Expectation number 1 is to expect your narcissistic parent to go into a rage and have a temper tantrum. Number 2, expect a smear campaign to be launched against you to the rest of the family, painting you in the worst light possible because now you're the bad guy. Number 3, expect to have flying monkeys coming your way. These are the people who do the dirty work for the narcissist and try to get information and supply from you so that they can report back to the narcissist. You might even be shocked on who ends up being in the flying monkey role, so expect to be potentially surprised by who ends up being one of these people. Number 4, expect guilt trips and criticism about how you didn't do your job that was imposed on you and you were a horrible child, son, daughter to your parent, that, you know, they were just entitled to having an extension of themselves for the rest of their lives. And number 5, expect sudden fake concern for your mental health and well-being.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. Remember, I see you. If you had an experience like this, I'm sorry that you had that experience. It's not your fault, but you can come out of this. You don't have to be their victim forever, but it's important, I believe, to acknowledge that you were a victim so that you can evolve and become victorious out of that. So don't allow your narcissistic parents to take any more of your life away. They've done enough. Now it's time for you to center yourself, get back to yourself. And if you need to cut them off, cut them off. Follow some of these TikTokers as well to get some inspiration and motivation. And again, you are not alone. In the comments, we can have community, we can have healing, and together we can make a better world for ourselves, literally our own inner childs that are, upset and hurt or whatever, and for the children that come after us. If you don't have children, just love yourself, love your inner child, heal your inner child, and let them know that they are seen, safe, and heard now. Okay? Period. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for joining. Catch a live if you can. It's a lot more fun on the live side. The videos are a little bit more sad, but healing is healing. See you next time, guys. Bye.